This is Conversations with a Citizen. I'm your host, Tia Carol Jones. I am here today with Greg Lewis, also known as Olskool Ice-Gre. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. First of all, I'm a Chicagoan, born and raised, although I live in Los Angeles right now.
Okay.
But, I like to consider myself or call myself a creative. I have my hands in various creative things that, let's just say I've made a name for myself, internationally in some of the things and definitely national in others, And I'm just, I'd like to say I'm a music and entertainment industry mover and shaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So I want to talk about Abstract Mindstate and how you met your collaborator and how you guys decided to become a group.
Yeah, EP the Hellcat, that's my partner in rhyme in Abstract Mindstate. She and I met actually at the illustrious HBCU known as Jackson State University. See, I got to say that with a whole lot of pride.
Okay.
Shout out to Coach Prime for taking that SWAC title. We champions right now.
And you also have to say the I love.
The I love. The
Okay.
I absolutely love. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Jackson State, man. That's that blue runs in my blood, So, but yeah, we met actually on the what's funny is we didn't actually meet on the campus of Jackson State.
Okay.
We met going back home for one of the holidays. I want to say it was Christmas or something like that.
Okay.
And at that time, the ideal transportation for the college students, we would catch the Amtrak train.
Okay.
And so my first cousin actually is the group's manager and my business partner in the company with everything we do, Lee Majors. We were on our way to the train station, and we saw this young lady, and she was kind of complaining about not going to get her something to drink before we got on the train, because as college students, I mean, you get introduced to beer and all of that kind of stuff in school,
Right.
just keeping it real. So she was like, "Oh man, I didn't get anything to drink." And of course, me and Lee Majors, we had a bag full of all kinds of college libations, So, he leaned over to her and said, he heard what she said and said, "Oh no, you don't got to worry about it," and opened the bag up and said, "We got you," like that, And she was like, "Oh, okay, I'm hanging with y'all." And that was the initial, just, a camaraderie or a back and forth that, established some kind of, communication with us. Now, what led next was, let's just fast forward and say, we got on the train got moving, and after the train is stabilized and going, they open the bar car, and everybody can kind of go in the bar car, and that's where all of the socializing, the cards, and all of the different things, again, that college students do, it takes place there, and the drinking, and so we got in there, and just everybody socializing, playing games, drinking, and just getting to know each other, and the music starts. And I was like a known rapper on campus, so I started kicking rhymes and freestyling, and we got it going. It's just a normal thing. And then out of the blue, EP, who didn't quite have a name at the time, and we can get into that, she just jumped in and she started kicking a rhyme, and we just kind of froze and looked at her because she was absolutely incredible. And when she stopped rapping, the entire bar car just went crazy. It was like a concert, right?
Okay.
And I was like, "Man, you are dope, what's your name?" And she said, "Man, my name is, they call me Danky." And I said, "Oh," I heard of you. People been telling me it's this female, and they kept saying this girl named Danky. She said, "Well, what's your name?" I said, "They call me Ice-Gre." She was like, "I heard about you. Everybody been telling me." So, you know what I'm saying? It got exciting at that point, and let's just say we talked all the way till it was they just had to almost kick us off the train, because we just kept talking all the way home almost, until it was just time to get some sleep. And that was the beginning of us I had decided at the time, hey, I want to work with you. We have a crew at the time. She wasn't my partner.
Okay.
I thought she would fit into my crew. It was called the Peace Posse. Okay. And I was going to groom her, because through our long conversation, it was established that, man, I've never been in a major studio or studio period. I don't have any, music. And I was like, I got all of that. You're an incredible talent. I'm gonna help you out. We gonna get you straight. So my whole goal then was to like groom her and kind of like manage her to get her to a point. And you know that later turned into a relationship between us that emerged into the group. You know.
And what were those early days like?
Oh man, the early days were incredible because I mean we were young, you know, we were something teen years old. Everything was like, it was good days back then because this was in 1990. The year was 1990. That was when she came to Jackson State. I had already been there since 1989, so I was pretty comfortable and familiar with the territory by the time that, you know, she came to the campus. But it was those days were great. I mean, just having fun writing and just enjoying being new to being away from home and leaving from under the guise of your parents and just having the freedom and the choice to make decisions on your own. So it was just a wonderful free time, which why it was really easy to be creative, you know.
How would you describe your sound?
Man, Abstract Mindstate sound is actually we created a name, or I created a genre that I'm working on actually getting it respected or implemented into the Grammy system, and we call our music ACH.
Okay.
And those letters mean adult contemporary hip hop. And what that means is just like in the spirit of adult contemporary R&B, it's just a more traditional hip hop sound that concentrates more on the lyrics, the cadences, the creativity, conversation. You know, meaning when I say conversation, like it's meaningful conversation, as well as the creative, new and interesting beats. You know, not the same old stuff we getting, because right now, unfortunately, rap music has gotten a little redundant, and you kind of get heralded for doing the same thing versus coming in with something new. Everybody, you know, pretty much sounds the same. It's kind of hard to differentiate, you know, one artist from another in rap today, because everybody pretty much is doing, you know, they're using the same sounds, the same style, the same cadences. And so adult contemporary hip hop, all I'm saying is what that is, we are artists who lean more towards the traditional way the rap portion of hip hop was brought to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it makes a distinction between hip hop and rap?
Yes, definitely. There is a difference. Hip hop is the culture, rap is just the music that's connected to the culture. So, and when you call yourself hip hop as a rapper, you're saying you lean more towards all of the aesthetics that hip hop culture embraces. You know, so it's it's respect, it's education, it's, you know, it's b-boying, it's MCing, it's DJing. All of these things you actually care about. When you call yourself hip hop, those things matter. And that changes the sound of your rap, so to speak. Yeah.
Because when I think of hip hop, I think of KRS-One. When
Oh,
I think of rap,
yes.
I think of Migos.
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
right, and that's not
Okay.
disrespectful. Shout out to Migos. You know,
Right.
I've been fortunate enough to meet them and hang out several times with Migos, and Migos are actually some really smart guys. You know, but I'll say this: their music is rap.
Okay.
KRS-One is hip hop.
Okay.
Why? That's the teacher, and just like we were saying, part of hip hop culture is education. So that's why KRS-One is the teacher, because
Right.
his alias is the teacher. So yes, I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to Kenwood. So.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. I'm CBS, you know.
Okay.
We used to be in y'all campus hollering at the girls, you know. I mean, on your yard, or whatever. I'm saying campus and yard. That's a college term, but you know,
Right.
you know what I mean.
What led to you coming back together?
Who should be a better question.
Okay.
No, I'm not correcting you. I'm just saying it's funny because it wasn't a what, it was a who, and that who was you know, Chicago's own Kanye West. So I'll say it like this: EP and I haven't had any music in the market in at least 16 years,
Okay.
and we may have not performed in almost 20 years, and but during the whole course of the 16 to 20 years, Kanye produced for my group back during our heyday, when we were the hot, you know, when we were the hot thing in Chicago, when we were the top of the food chain in Chicago. He produced some stuff for us, and it built a relationship with him, you know, the group and him. And I maintained that relationship personally, and he and I got close. So I'm telling you this because the last 22 years of my relationship with Kanye, I've been working with him almost the whole time.
Okay.
You know, it was one period of time where we had about 5 years in between us where he was doing his thing and I was doing my thing, but we got right back together and it was just picked up where we left off. So he came up with the idea that so the story goes, we were working on this album that the one that he called Yay. It was just simply called Yay.
Okay.
And that album was birthed out of these sessions that's famously known as the Wyoming sessions. You literally can Google the Wyoming sessions and you'll get this whole story on Kanye and his team and these five albums that they created. And I was a part of that team. I was an A&R for Good Music at the time. And at the time, we were about to put together albums, 7-song. They were kind of like EPs. They were 7 songs, short EPs for artists Pusha T, Tiana Taylor, Kid See Ghost, which was a collaboration group between Kanye and Kid Cudi.
Okay.
And then it was Kanye's solo album. And then we even had Nas. So all of us was in Wyoming standing this like, what I like to jokingly call it a mansion cabin, because we were in Wyoming and it was like this. It was a mansion cabin. It was like straight up cabin, but it was as big as a mansion, you know, several rooms, and everybody was there working on their projects. So, and so before when we initially got to that cabin, everybody wasn't involved. Kanye was just working on chopping up beats for everybody's records.
Okay.
I was actually the guy who went with him to go sample shopping at the record store to get the records that he used to chop up, which later he became some of our beats, you know, but at the time they weren't for me because we wasn't in it. So let's just say during the process of something that was called Yeezy Sound being created, Kanye had an engineer by the name of Noah Goldstein. He just came up with this idea of like Yeezy Sound because Kanye was trying to do so many different things related to sound. And he proposed that idea to Kanye and he liked it. And you know, we were running with this idea of Yeezy Sound at this point. And while we were trying to work on his album, Kanye had a writer's block. And I was trying to help him get out of this writer's block. Because as a creative collaborator with him and an A&R, that was kind of like my position. Plus, a very good friend. I was like, you know, we would freestyle. We would do different things. So EP, my partner in rhyme, her cousin, his name is Duran Hubron. He called me and he said, Gre, man, you know, I always listen to y'all music. He's who I like to call one of Abstract Mindstate's biggest supporters. Definitely in Chicago. I don't think there's anybody in Chicago that loves Abstract Mindstate more than Duran, honestly. And so Duran said, man, I've been listening to the mixtape Chicago's Hardest Working Volume 2. That's the name of our mixtape. And he said, man, when last time you listened to it? I said, Ron, I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm in the studio, you know, Kanye over here in the Yeezy side working on clothes, but man, we just trying to, you know, I'm trying to figure out a way to help him get out this writer's block and just get some inspiration so we can get back to the music. And he was like, man, but you got to listen to he's still talking about our stuff. And I'm like, not thinking about that right now. And he was like, well, man, just listen to Sacrifice. I bet you end up calling me back. And I was like, bro, like, you know, and I was trying to beat him down, but Duran was so persistent. And then I started feeling silly because I'm like, okay, how arrogant am I coming off when a guy trying to have me listen to my own music and I'm fighting him, you know? So I started feeling a little narcissistic. So I said, you know what? Okay, Duran, I'll listen to it. It was, you know, and I don't mean it like I'm doing you a favor. Like, let me cool out and just maybe, I don't know, let me see. I don't know why I did it, but when I listened to it, it was such a vibe. Okay. And I was like, wow. And see, it's cool for me being in a group with Abstract Mindstate because I get to listen to another person. So again, it's not like it's all about me. It's two people in my group. So when I hear our music, I'm listening to EP. You get what I'm saying? So I get to enjoy it like you would. So I'm listening to it and I'm vibing. And I found myself listening to this song called Sacrifice off of Chicago's Hardest Working Volume 2. And it plays down and it to the end of the mixtape and it starts from the top and plays back to that song. And I hit stop it was on a computer. I just kind of clicked the mouse and stopped it because I felt something. And after, like I say, we have put out music in 16 years. I've been on the creative side of the music all of this time, but never writing for myself. And something was in me and I was like, man, I want to write. Something made me want to write. And I took that feeling as a sign and said, yo, if this made me want to write, maybe if I send this to Kanye, it'll make him want to write. He's as hip hop as me, you know. So I did that. I texted him right then. You know, he 100 feet over in another room. But it's funny because the way this place that he had called the Energy Center, that was the like his creative hub, and we all worked there. It was the music side, and then there was the clothing and shoe side.
Okay.
We didn't mess around over there. When he was in his zone creating clothes and shoes, we don't, you know, we respect that space and just let him do his thing. So instead of me going over there, I just text him the link to Chicago's Hardest Working Volume 2, like, yo, check this out. You know, and I called myself just giving him a vibe. But that may have been about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, early evening, and I didn't hear from him. And I didn't expect to hear nothing, but I just, you know, I was like, whatever. I had forgot I sent it to him, to be honest. So 6 in the morning, I get a call, and I look at my phone, and I'm like, what is Kanye doing up at 6 in the morning? You know, I know he been in the Energy Center all night, you know. Yo, what's up, Ye? He was like, he just started talking. Man, you know, I had an idea. I know the artist that I want to represent Yeezy Sound. And he was saying this because Yeezy Sound, again, was everything related to sound around him. So I guess he figured out, okay, so the artist portion of Yeezy Sound, I figured it out. I said, okay, well, what you thinking? So I sit up and get myself ready for this creative conversation. And he says, Tiana Taylor. I was like, okay. We hadn't even started working on her project yet. I said, okay. I was like, in my head, I'm like, that sound good. He said, an Abstract Mindstate. I was like, what? I was like, yo, what are you talking about? So I'm thinking he playing. So I started laughing. How, boy, you crazy? And he just didn't even pay attention to me. He just kind of kept talking. He was like, yeah, man, because you had EP had a line on a song that said, beautiful but hard to learn like Arabic alphabet. And then you had a line that said, who would have thought that making some dough could turn you into something that people don't know? He said, man, that's God level MCing. I want to get Abstract Mindstate a deal and put y'all back out. I just started laughing. I'm still in the space like, dude, because he's a jokes that people, you know, little to people's, you know, what they know. He actually, you know, he has a sense of humor. So I'm like, boy, get out of here, man. And he was like, no, I'm for real. I said, yo, you said, you know, it stopped being funny. I said, yo, you serious? And he said, yes, bruh. He said, I want you to get EP on the floor, get EP out here tomorrow. Like, I want to fly. I said, so, I said, you think the world is ready for some 40-something-year-old rappers? At the time, I'm 50 now. EP is 49. At the time, she was 48 and I was 49. I said, you think the world ready for some 40-something-year-old rappers? He said, that's exactly what they're ready for. Abstract Mindstate is going to heal people and save lives. We have to teach the youth. We got to teach these kids, you know. We the elders. What y'all do in y'all music, the world needs to hear this. And I was like, so you want me to get in touch with the travel agent and get EP on the flight? He was like, yep. I said, right now. He was like, right now. I said, right now. He said, right now. I said, right now. He said, right now. I said, right now. He said, well, not while we on the phone. Hang up and call EP like that, right? Now I was like, all right. So like I hung up and I took a breath for a second. Like, what's going on? This is kind of wild. So I called EP, and to make the long story short, the same 15 or 20 minutes it took Kanye to convince me that this is something real, it took me the same 15 minutes to convince her that I wasn't joking with her. So it was really serendipitous and funny at the same time. Like, no, like, you know, I went through the same thing with her. So, yeah.
I love the name of the documentary that was released in July. We paid Let Us In, The Legend of Abstract Mindstate.
Yes.
What will people learn about the group from the documentary?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, let me start off by saying shout out to Trezana McClendon, who is the producer, the co-producer, and director of the film. Trezana is a Emmy Award-winning producer, and this was her directorial debut. So we're very blessed and fortunate to have her expertise and passion attached to the documentary. But the documentary, what I think people will learn or get out of it is I could just throw a lot of words out like perseverance, hustle, lines like hard work pays off, all of these little quotes like never give up on your dreams. You know, this documentary is a culmination of everything that made us us, but it shows you that if you're really passionate about something, just because you think it's over, you know, God may have another plan. I think I heard a line that says, not heard a line. It's something that my mom and people say, what they say, you tell God you got a plan, you know,
Yeah.
that. So yeah.
I Refuse to Quit is your book. Why
Yes.
did you want to write it, and what do you hope people get from it?
Oh man, I Refuse to Quit. That's my what do I call it? My as an author, that's my debut. And
Okay.
what it is it's my story. What I'm doing is using my story, my ups and downs, and music and entertainment, going after my dreams. The purpose of me creating it was just to use my own story to create a little motivation and inspiration and education for dreamers, for people who dreamers are, I think, are all true and living, and they're the visionaries that when you can take something that's in your head, just a thought, and then put the work behind it to manifest it into the world, and it becomes a real thing. That's a beautiful thing, and the only reason we have advances in technology and and all in medicine, and it's a dreamer. It's somebody that said, you know what, I'm gonna create this little thing, and you're gonna be able to blow in it, just like a breathalyzer, and you're gonna be able to tell if you have COVID. A dreamer came up with that. You know what I'm saying? We get into this place slow, so I want to put some wheels on this machine, and it's going to be able to put me and a couple of people in it, and we're going to get to the next location. A dreamer created that car. You get what I'm saying? So I'm really into, like, the book is called I Refuse to Quit, the Autobiography of a Dreamer. First of all, I like to establish the fact that, I'm a dreamer, and I know there's more of me out there, and this great person is probably at the verge of giving up because he think he or she has had it so hard. And I feel like I have such an interesting, unique story because I've been blessed and fortunate enough to be among some of the greatest people in music and entertainment, and I'm still as regular as the next person. I'm not taken by the game or the entertainment industry. I'm still that guy that can walk, in the mall and nobody know who I am. But at the same time, one of my best friends is like Kanye West, or I've spent years around, Jay-Z, and, I can just name countless actors and actresses that's my personal friends, from legends to new actors and actresses. And it's like, these stories have to be told because people are impressed. The fact that people are impressed by these individuals, I like to be the regular guy in the room and say, yeah, I've been around all of them. But here's why a guy like me is important that you don't even know. And my story will probably inspire you more than their story because theirs seem a little fantastic or fantasy, but I'm right here with you. You know what I'm saying? And I did it because I didn't quit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I Refuse to Quit, the Autobiography of a Dreamer is about. It's about, I say it's a movement of me, and you heard me say these words, but a movement of me sounds selfish, but I spell me M-I-E. And that's motivation, inspiration, and education. And that's what it's all about.
What did it feel like to headline tonight's concert at Promontory? And what can people expect from the performance?
Oh man, it feels wonderful to I'll use the word co-headline because there's no headline for this show tonight. It's us and Slum Village. Shout out to Slum Village, who are like one of our favorite groups in hip hop. Definitely some very incredible guys. Shout out to my man Young RJ and T3, and Big RJ. Those guys are amazing. We've been following them since the Dilla days, and that group is just like carrying a torch in just the most fantastic way. No pun intended, but fantastic is one of their, but I feel like one of their best works. But anyway, what they can expect tonight is what they can expect is hip hop. What we talked about. You can expect hip hop. You can expect energy. You can expect a quality performance, an excellent live show, and bigger than that, what you can expect is a vibe. And Dion Cole is on our new album, Dreams Still Inspired, and he says in an interlude, he says, a vibe doesn't have an age. And that touched us. We was like, wow, that was a prolific statement of vibe. Because that's true, there's no age for a vibe if you feel a vibe. Tonight is a vibe. It's hip hop, but it's a vibe. You're gonna leave there feeling good. So tonight, very excited about it. We've been almost 20 years removed from the stage. The last time we were on stage, we were respected as some of the greatest on stage. So here we go again, reliving our dreams. At home is what makes it great, because this is the first time that we're performing anything live from our album since the album has released, and we're doing it at home in Chicago. So that's super special. Yeah.
How has Chicago hip hop changed since you started out, and how have you changed as an artist since you first started?
Wow, that's a great question, and I'll start this by saying no disrespect to the young guys doing it now, but what has changed to me, in my opinion, in Chicago, hip hop or rap or whatever now is, man, the music. I don't know whether to say the music has gotten dark, or do I say the music out of Chicago that's getting the heavy attention is the darker, hip rap. I'm not really a fan of what's going on. I can be open and honest and just say that as a grown man. I'm not a fan of every. I'm not a fan of what drill music has caused. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of drill music, because there was some good drill music, and it is some good drill music. Like, when I say good, I mean quality and well done, and like people like Chief Keef and all that who started it, they created this sound, and it was kind of cool until it became dangerous. It became a music where, and Chicago is not a place to play. We're not a city that, no disrespect to New York and LA, but we don't have the movies. We don't have all of that stuff. So these kids are real. Like, they're really doing what they saying in this rap. Their raps. And when I grew up listening to hip hop, it was like a movie. These guys wasn't really doing what they were saying in their songs. They were just maybe telling tales from the street, or some of the things the gangbangers was doing. But now these kids, they're literally telling you what they did, about to do, and going to do, and then they do it. And that's frightening. Yeah. So too many lives have been lost, because I would love to see these young brothers who are making millions of dollars now. And at one time in music, the record labels was killing us. I'll use the word rape. They were raping artists. Like, artists was not making money. Now we're in the most independent, successful part of music and entertainment, and this is the music that's getting the most attention. So I'm not feeling that, because there's too much death associated with that. Abstract Mindstate, myself, me, I'm about life. I'm not about dark. I'm about light. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not feeling that, what's going on. But in the same breath, there are some amazing artists that fall into what I would call the adult contemporary hip hop vibe too. Guys like Vic Mensa, he's amazing, an amazing lyricist, one of my favorite. You know what I mean? You got girl, even the female rappers like No Name, or even Chance the Rapper. These guys are dope. I'm just naming a couple. It's several. Saba. It's a lot of these guys. They're amazing. I love what they're doing lyrically, and what they're doing for the culture. And they actually have a platform, so that's cool. But some of the other stuff, it's just kind of like I love the success, and that they're finally finding a way out, like the ghetto or the hood, and they're getting to live their dreams. I'm about dreams. I love that they get to live their dreams. But if living your dreams is at the cause of siblings, parents, and death, what I'm saying, destruction of your own, I'm not okay. Maybe we need to change this. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about. And it's different. During my era, I grew up in Chicago during what we call the golden era of hip hop. So I came up when people like Common, and of course Kanye is some years behind us, and it was Rhymefest. It was people like Juice, and just like guys who was just amazing. Chicago has some amazing lyricists, and so I just miss that. So that's my take on it. I have a love-hate relationship with it right now, because I don't really like the some of the negative outcomes that happen based on these rappers that just happen to be doing drill. I wouldn't put it on drill, but all of the rappers who decide, who end up in these taking away lives and all that, just happen to be drill artists, So I just wish we can get past that part and get back to MCing and really enjoying the art and making money.
And how have you changed as an artist?
Yeah, I've changed because, to be honest, it's funny. When I first got into the game, it was all strictly just the love of the art. Hip hop. It was the love of the art. I didn't care about anything else but just respect and making a name and showing the world that, hey, we get down, or at least in my city, like, we get down. Now I do want to monetize. I'm an adult now, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. It's still there. I still have the love for it and the highest respect for it. But now I actually do want to monetize and create a business and be able to change some things off of it. Before, it was just something I wanted to do. Now it's something I want to be able to take care of me so I can do other things. And that's where I am with it now. It's actually working for me, unlike it was then. So that's where I changed. I think I started caring about the business of it more. Okay. As I got older, the business became even more important. So yeah.
Where can people go to find out more about you and Abstract Mindstate?
Yes. So for me, you can reach me on all social media at Olskool Ice-Gre, and that's at OLSKOOL _ICEGRE. Abstract Mindstate is just at Abstract Mindstate, and I refuse to quit.com is my website for my book, I Refuse to Quit. The YouTube page, Honest Management is my company, so if you go to the Honest Management YouTube page, you can look at the trailer for our documentary, We Paid, Let Us In, The Legend of Abstract Mindstate. And just to let you know, that documentary, Trezana McClendon, the one who directed it, she took that title from our very first album. Our very first album was called We Paid, Let Us In. Okay. And she thought that was such a pivotal point for us that she wanted to use that title to explain the documentary because it kind of summed us up. But that's why she added the subtitle, The Legend of Abstract Mindstate, because she's like, yo, this is a story behind why We Paid, Let Us In. Right. And and the dope part about it is We Paid, Let Us In was a double entendre, and it meant literally like, we paid our dues, let us in this game. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we paid our dues, let us in the game. But then it's just like we paid, we paid, let us in, So it's just like, you can look at it from both ways. So that's what that's about. And I think it's a cool title, and I appreciate Trez even wanting to use our album title to name the documentary that. So, and we're doing things too. The documentary, we've done a couple of screenings here. Right now, we're only doing private screenings. Okay. Because it was being entered in film festivals, and it deems you ineligible if you premiere a documentary or a movie before it's the festival approves it or whatever. So we just doing screenings. So yeah, that's what's going on with that.
Great. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Man, I just like to say, come and check us out if you're in Chicago at the Promontory tonight. We'll be rocking with the legendary Detroit MCs Slum Village, and we're going to be doing our thing also in Ann Arbor tomorrow at a spot called The Blind Pig. So, support, We Paid, Let Us In, The Legend of Abstract Mindstate. If you get a chance to see it, tell us about it, leave some stuff in our social medias, and definitely visit my website, IRefuseToQuit.com. And shout out to, my team, Lee Majors, Trezana McClendon, and everybody else.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Remember to make plans to join us again next week for Conversations with the Citizen, the place where real news